Welcome back. Casey Campbell with Great Lakes Post with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Max Esterson. Of course, if you haven't heard, a few weeks ago it was announced that he is at one of the finalists for the Team USA scholarship. Of course, if you haven't heard, that's the scholarship that Jeremy Shaw puts together, and another in its 31st year. Lots of big names have won this award, from Joseph Newgarden to AJ Allmendinger. And Jerry Nadeau has won this award, and Oliver Askew, Braden Eves, and of course, now it's you, and along with Andre Castro, are the two winners this year. Max, how are you?
Yeah, hi Casey. I'm doing well, thanks. I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah, well, it's I know we had to work a lot with schedules and all that to finally get you on, but
Yeah.
happy that we made it work. So
Yeah.
I know you've been busy out in you're currently in Great Britain right now.
That's correct. Yeah.
So kind of talk about how you've been. Well, actually, first off, talk about what it means to be one of the winners of the Team USA scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor, and much more than just the financial support it provides. It's like you mentioned some of the names before. It's a huge deal, and I mean, most of the names on the list of previous winners, have gone on to do great things. So yeah, it's definitely very cool to be a part of that, and it's exciting to be running in a USA car for the festival and the Walter Hayes. I mean, they're big events, and it's they're kind of iconic cars because they've been around for 30 plus years, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. So as the reward is typically as they do, so now you guys are going to be in England. You're already there. Andre will be joining you in a little bit to run Formula Fords and also the Walter Hayes Fund. So kind of explain, of course, talk about what you've been doing over there, what you've been racing, because I know you've been in England racing and all that, and then also talk about what you're doing for the next 2 weeks as part of the scholarship thing.
Yeah. So I moved to England in April, and I'm in a town called Brackley. It's about 10 minutes from Silverstone.
Yeah.
Where the F1 race is. And that's actually the same town that Mercedes F1 is in. So I can almost see them from my window here, which is pretty cool. And so I moved here in April, and I'm in the British Formula Ford Championship, which just ended last weekend.
Right.
And I finished third in that. So it was good first season. I was in the championship hunt in the last round. So that's pretty much all you could ask for. Besides the championship, we were at least, we had the pace to do it, and we were there in the last round. So yeah, great first season. And it's just been a great year, because I think by the end of the season, by the end of the Walter Hayes, I would have been in the car for, I think, over 65 days this year. So it's been, really a great year of learning, lots of track time.
So when you made the move, so how old are you, Max?
I'm 18, or just turned 19 actually.
Nice. So when you moved out to United Kingdom, England, whatever you want to call it, Great Britain, when you moved out in April, what was it like kind of getting used to not just a new state, not just a new country in another continent away from your family?
Yeah, I mean, took a bit of getting used to, for sure. And obviously, with the whole COVID thing, it's definitely it wasn't normal at first, for sure. In April, things were a lot different, but now it's more open. But to be honest, we've been so busy with the racing that it's been okay, because we're out every week, and I'm with the team every week, and the team shop is a 5-minute walk from here. So I'm always with the team, and they've made it easy to get used to, and I've gotten to like it.
So are you living with, because I remember last year when I interviewed Bryce, of course he was out here, and he was living with some folks, and I know obviously he's still out there. Talk about where you're staying. Are you staying with anybody? Are you by yourself, or kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so I was with my two teammates who are also American, and then one of them went home, and then Andre Castro has moved in. So we're the American household in Brackley.
So Andre is in England already.
Yeah, he just got here. Yeah,
that's fun. Okay, so you're used to all this kind of big, kind of living city stuff, because of course, being from New York City, Of course, that's always there. What was that like? I gotta ask you, growing up in a big city is, I never experienced that. You live in your own community and all that. But what was it like living in the biggest city in America?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of felt normal to me because I was born there. And I spent, all my life there. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely busy. Seems busy, a bit hectic, but there's some things that are nice about it. So you could walk to a lot of things, and obviously there's tons to do. But yeah, I mean, I quite like New York City, but it's nice sometimes to get a break from it, a break from the noise and all that.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of talk about like um what you're kind of doing with this season and stuff. How has that been going, and what'd you guys do over there?
Yeah, so the national championship like consisted of 7 race weekends, and there are three races per weekend. So it's 21 races. I think there's 20. 'Cause one weekend we had 2 races, but yeah, I was on the podium in that 13 out of 20 times, so it's quite good. I had 2 wins and a pole, and I think I've the track record at 2 tracks. So definitely a successful year, and done a few other like small championships just as kind of practice races, and yeah, tons of testing. So I've definitely had a lot of seat time, and just learning how to drive here is so good because you get like so many different weather conditions, either wet, a drying track, a track that's getting wet, or just dry. So lots to learn from here.
So kind of talk about your path in racing. How'd you get your start, and where'd you kind of go, and how did it lead up to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I started online really on iRacing
Nice.
kind of 10 years ago, or maybe, yeah, 8 years ago. Because New York City, it wasn't the easiest just to go racing. The closest kart track was about 2 hours away, and I didn't even really know it was there until I was like 15. So my first time I mean, I did some indoor karting when I was younger, just for fun, and then the first time I was in a proper kart was in the summer of 2018. So a late start, but definitely did a lot of laps on iRacing, and yeah, I got quite good on iRacing. I think, ranked in the top 40 at one point in the world out of over 100,000 players, and then top 4 in the US. Did a lot of the pro championships on there, and a lot of the endurance racing on there. So yeah, that's kind of where I got my start.
So going into that, really after that, and now you're in these kinds of cars, where do you want to go? What's next for you really after these 2 weeks? Because simply put, you could stay in Britain. You can take the IndyCar route like Jackson and Simon did last year.
Yeah.
You can stay in Britain or do what Bryce is doing. Um, where is it? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out right now, to be honest. But I think either of those two options are quite good between British F3, which is now called GB3, or the road to Indy. I think both of those are pretty good options. I'd like to test in both of them just to see what it's about. But definitely I like the style of racing over here for sure, and I think it's probably the best training ground. Just like I said, with the weather and just the style of racing that it is.
So kind of going into that, what makes racing more fun here in Britain, or
Uh,
like more interesting, I should say. That's probably the word I should.
yeah. Well, I guess some of it is just like has the advantage of being a pretty small country, like size wise, physically. Because I mean, you could pretty much from where I'm living, there's probably 6 or 7 tracks within 2 hours of me, which is super handy because in America it's just not possible to test as frequently as you can here just because of the travel. So that's kind of what helps it for sure. But it's also just I feel like the racing's super close. Like in Formula Ford, it's some of the closest racing you'll ever see, and just good competition, lots of good drivers because it's just more motorsport is just more part of society here. It's more common. Um, it's a big deal here. So it's definitely helps it be more competitive.
Well, let's get to know Max Esterson for a bit. How about that?
Okay.
What is your all-time favorite racing memory? This could come from you personally or something that you watched or
uh, I'd probably have to say my first win this year, to be honest, at Silverstone. It's just definitely a cool place to get it because it's, where lots of famous drivers have driven there, and to get my first win there was quite cool.
okay, favorite TV Netflix show. What do you want? What are you binge watching anything?
Uh, Not much of a Netflix guy, to be honest.
Really anything. Just really anything if you have the time.
I liked The Office back when that was a thing.
Back when that was a thing. People still watch it.
I know.
It's a thing. Favorite movie.
uh, I think I'd have to go with Talladega Nights, probably. Just a racing classic.
Nice. Racing, any racing superstitions that you have?
I mean, I always get in my car from the same side. It's not really just superstition. I think it's just a thing I do without even thinking.
Do you how do you like get mentally ready for a race? Because I know everyone likes to do things different. Are you more are you more talkative? Are you more loose? Or are you more do you just kind of keep to yourself, focused, headphones in, all that?
Yeah, pretty. I kind of keep to myself for the most part. I mean, I try to warm up a bit before, just so I'm not, completely in cold, especially if it's early in the morning. But you know, you're just pretty quiet. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much of like a ritual, but yeah, I just try to stay calm.
Um you can kind of go into that. Do you listen to music before a race? Do you like shut your eyes and visualize or something? Or what do you do?
Yeah, sometimes a bit of visualization, but for the most part, just kind of sitting alone and just thinking what I need to do.
Nice. Um, what's something people do not know about you?
Uh, that I used to play ice hockey. That's probably something most people don't know. I was a goalie.
I know that. Favorite sports team?
St. Louis Blues.
But okay. All right. Like that one. What kind of got you into that?
I just knew some people involved in the organization there, so I've always kind of been a fan. And they
But
finally won the Stanley Cup a few years ago.
finally, yeah, I thought you were gonna say like New York Rangers, Islanders,
No,
growing growing up in New York and all that. Because New Yorkers are passionate about their sports teams. Also,
for sure.
so I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna go with that, but who knows? Um, what's the biggest thing what's your favorite thing to get used to in America? I mean, in America.
In England. Uh, I guess driving on the wrong side of the road, or maybe the right side here.
Did you have to get used to that as it's like, we do something this way, they do something completely different. It's like when you're
Yeah,
in Disney World, they always come at you the opposite way. It's like, oh,
it
that's
definitely takes getting used to at first, but I think I've driven so much here that I think if I went back to America, I'd feel a bit weird at this point.
so yeah. I mean, does your family ever come out and see you, or do you have plans to go back to the States at any time soon?
Yeah, I mean, I've been back a few times during the summer, but then my dad's come a few times to watch some races, and I think my parents will come for the end of year events. So yeah, it's been good to see them.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you is it like what's the biggest thing you had to do like to get used to living in a brand new country or all that stuff? What's something that a lot of people do that you had to get used to or something besides what you said earlier?
Um, I guess just in general living alone because I've never, I'm 18 or 19 now, so I haven't really been away much. I mean, like cooking all the time for yourself, just doing everything on my own because I've never been away from home, which is new.
Okay, how have you done? Are you good at making food or something like that? Do you
I would say I'm pretty good for a 19-year-old boy.
nice. What like what's the best thing you make?
Uh, I can make a good steak.
Yes. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was impressed with myself.
That's very impressive with yourself. Do you have like, trying to think of something. I want to think of something interesting. It's you never know what could come up. I mean, I got to think of something interesting. Do you have any like, what's the most interesting thing you've learned or know about Andre Castro?
That he's raced a lot of different cars. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been doing it for quite a while. I mean, he did a bit of NASCAR in Europe, which I think is mostly road courses, but still a bit of oval racing.
Of course. Yeah, mostly on ovals and all that stuff.
Yeah, so he's done a lot of different racing, which is quite cool.
Yeah, stock cars are interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Max Esterson, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Congrats on winning the scholarship. We'll follow up with you in maybe in a couple weeks. How about that?
Yeah, thanks, Casey. Enjoyed it.